Hey, my friend, have you heard George Pickens speak since he became a Dallas Cowboy? If not, then you're in for something special, because this wasn't your typical press conference filled with cliches or vague answers. No, this was a player who sounded focused, thankful, and more importantly, ready for a fresh start. After all the noise in Pittsburgh, the criticism, the body language questions, the trade rumors, Pickens finally opened up as a member of America's team. And what stood out the eye most? He wasn't defensive. He wasn't combative. He was grateful. Now let me ask you this. When was the last time you heard a young wide receiver say something like, "I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to play with Dak"? That right there tells you everything you need to know about his mindset. No talk about stats, no complaints, just a guy who understands he's got a golden opportunity and doesn't want to waste it. Pickens also said, "I'm just here to work. Whatever role finds me is best, is where I'm going to find myself." That's not the kind of quote you expect from someone who was labeled as selfish last season. That sounds like a man who's grown, or at least wants to grow. And then there was this line, "I feel like growth for me is taking a great direction in me coming to the Cowboys." That wasn't just about a change of scenery, that was about maturing, both as a player and as a teammate. Now I want to know what you think. Do you believe George Pickens is genuinely ready to turn the page in Dallas? Or do you still have doubts about whether he can stay focused and be the wide receiver this team needs? Drop your opinion in the comments and explain why you feel that way. We're going to take a quick look back at the version of Pickens that caused so many headlines in Pittsburgh, and the difference will surprise you. All right, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's be real for a second. There's a reason George Pickens landed in Dallas in the first place, and it wasn't because Pittsburgh just woke up one day and said, "Let's trade away our most talented receiver." No, my friend, the Steelers had concerns, and they weren't quiet about it. Let's rewind to last season. Pickens was making headlines, not always for the right reasons. You probably remember the viral clips, not blocking on run plays, not celebrating his teammates' touchdowns, looking frustrated on the sideline. Then there was the moment he deleted all Steelers content from his social media and posted "Free Me." That lit up every sports talk show from coast to coast. And here's the crazy part. He still led Pittsburgh in receiving yards and touchdowns. But that wasn't enough to silence the noise. Coaches reportedly questioned his maturity. Teammates were asked constantly about his attitude. Fans were split. Some believed he was misunderstood, others thought he was a diva. It all came to a head when the Steelers made the shocking move to trade him during the NFL draft, something no one saw coming a year earlier. So what happened? Maybe it was frustration with the offense, maybe it was growing pains, or maybe it was simply a case of a young, passionate player not knowing how to channel his energy the right way. And let's be honest, the Cowboys have taken chances on guys like that before. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. What about you? Did you see Pickens as a problem in Pittsburgh or a victim of a broken offense? Vote now. Was George Pickens misunderstood in Pittsburgh? Yes or no? We're diving into why this fit with Dallas could be the perfect storm for a breakout season. Now here's where things get exciting. George Pickens didn't just land on any team, he landed in Dallas. And for a guy with his skill set, this might be exactly what he needed. Because let's face it, the Cowboys have a clear void at WR2. Behind CeeDee Lamb, there just isn't a true game-changing threat. And if you've been watching this team closely, you know that's been holding the offense back. Brandon Cooks had his moments last season, sure, but at this stage of his career, he's not the guy you build around. Jalen Tolbert, still developing. And don't even get me started on the inconsistency from the depth chart behind them. What the Cowboys needed was a physical, explosive wideout who can stretch the field, win contested catches, and draw coverage away from Lamb. Enter George Pickens. This dude was built for that role. He's got the size, he's got the hands, and say what? You want about his attitude in Pittsburgh? The man competes. You don't make the kind of grabs he's made in tight coverage without that fire. And now, with a new coaching approach under Brian Schottenheimer and Mike McCarthy calling the shots, Pickens has a real chance to be featured in a scheme that lets him shine. And here's something else to consider. Dak Prescott has always thrived when he's had multiple legit options. Think back to 2019 with Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup. That's the kind of balance Dallas is trying to recreate here. And if Pickens locks in mentally, the numbers could explode. So I want to hear from you. Is George Pickens exactly what the Cowboys needed to take pressure off CeeDee Lamb? Drop your answer in the comments. And while you're there, let me know what kind of stat line you're expecting from Pickens in 2025. Be bold with it. Here's the part that could define the entire Cowboys season. George Pickens coming to Dallas isn't just about adding talent to the receiver room. It's about elevating Dak Prescott. And if you've been watching Dak long enough, you know one thing. When he's confident in his weapons, his game goes to another level. Think back to Dak's best stretches. They came when he had real threats across the field. Amari Cooper on one side, Gallup stretching the boundary, and tight ends working the middle. It created space. It created timing. And more than anything, it created trust. That's what Pickens can do. For all the criticism Dak gets, and let's be real, some of it is fair, what he's lacked lately is that consistent WR2 who can make a tough grab on 3rd and 8 or force a safety to shift pre-snap. When it's just CeeDee drawing attention, defenses clamp down. But you add Pickens to the mix? Now things open up. Schottenheimer's system thrives on that balance. The ability to disguise, stretch the field, and force defenders to pick their poison. If Pickens buys in, Dak gets more one-on-one reads, cleaner throwing windows, and more chances to hit deep shots off play action. It's the kind of change that could flip games. And look, Dak's in a contract year. Whether you're on board with paying him big again or not, you can bet he knows what's at stake. So don't be surprised if this Pickens move is exactly what sparks a prove-it season from QB1. Here's what I want to know. Do you think George Pickens is the missing piece to take Dak's game to the next level? Cast your vote in the poll, yes or no, and hit the comments with your honest take. Does this duo have top 10 potential, or is it just hype? All right, let's step back and really look at what the Cowboys would be doing by trading for George Pickens. This isn't just some mid-season adjustment or a tweak to the depth chart. It would be a full-on, high-stakes move with major implications. The kind of swing that either puts you over the top or blows up in your face. Because let's be honest, for all of Pickens' talent, this is not a no-risk play. There's attitude to manage, there's chemistry to protect, and there's the ever-present question, are the Cowboys really the kind of franchise that can absorb a volatile personality and turn it into elite production? But maybe that's the exact kind of gamble this team needs to take. They've played it safe before. They've bet on culture and locker room guys, and it's gotten them exactly 0 NFC championship appearances in nearly 30 years. At some point, talent has to win, and Pickens, for all the noise, brings serious talent. Just imagine this. It's late December, the Cowboys are battling for playoff seeding, and Dak drops back on 3rd and 11. He's got CeeDee drawing double coverage, but Pickens is isolated one-on-one down the sideline. He goes up, snatches it out of the air, toe taps in bounds, and keeps the drive alive. That's the kind of difference maker we're talking about. And if Dallas believes it's win now, then what's the point of holding back? So here's my final question for you, and it's the biggest one of all. Should the Cowboys risk locker room harmony and future draft picks to land George Pickens, or stay the course and roll with who they've got? Drop your vote, sound off in the comments, and let your voice be heard. This team is right on the edge, and every move counts.